Now was it, so you go to the bank, they say, okay, you don't meet the requirements, you're there, but you're not 100% there. Now, when you guys had that conversation, was it, okay, this is the plan, this is what we're doing, this is how we're going to do it, and this is the way we need to do it? Was that conversation?
Well,
he knew he needed to fix his credit score.
Yeah.
I didn't make enough money to get the loan that we needed to purchase that first home.
Okay. So it was a balance.
It was a balance. It was like my credit score was fine. His credit score sucked. My pay sucks. His pay is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, we didn't have a formal conversation about it, but he was like, yeah, I know I need to fix my credit score.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to do. And he did it. And in the midst, I got a little raise here and there. So, I mean, it all worked out. But yeah, it was that first punch in the gut. It was like, oh, okay, we really need to tighten up. If this is what we're going to do, we need to tighten up.
My wife and I, so that's funny because me and my wife was actually in the same position you guys are in, vice versa, same situation. And that first punch was like, okay, cool, let's do it, right? So I knew I had to saddle up and get some stuff squared away, right? But it was good though because it was an eye opener. And believe it or not, getting pre-approved from the home is like almost one of the top 5 fears of like as far as like American dream wise, like it's like one of the top 5 fears. And to go through that process, to understand how it feels, I'm now able to be relatable to people who are in that position. It's like, you know what, it's gonna be okay. So just go and get pre-approved, understand why you're not pre-approved, and then plan from there. And so I tell a lot of people that, because a lot of people are like, hey, I want to look at this house, I want to see this house, I want to, and that's cool. We can go look at it all day long, but understand how the back end works, because that's the most important piece.
And I think that prepared us for purchasing this home. And because we didn't go and get pre-approved, we found that house first, and then we went to the bank. And instead of, okay, I want to purchase a home. He raised his credit score. We went to the bank and was like, okay, what are y'all going to give us?
Right.
So that kind of set us up for our price range. And then once we started looking in the price range that we knew we could get a loan for, that was. Yeah.
And you know what's funny? The bank actually works like that. The bank wants you to find a house, then come to them. But us as realtors that's in the business of showing homes every day would rather you understand what your money is first, so we know how much money we have to spend.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that system kind of like clashes a lot, you know? And I've seen real estate transactions fail because of that clash. But I think it's just a working partnership.
Yeah, because when we did go get pre-approved, they did want to know, like, do you have an address or have you found a house?
Yeah.
So I can see that. I can see that. But
yeah. So we finally get pre-approved. How was that? How was that feeling?
It was a I don't know, it was a reality check, like, oh, we really doing this now.
Yeah, this is serious.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
How long we gonna have a loan for?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, I mean, it was a good feeling to finally get pre-approved for what we wanted.
It gave you that sense of hope.
Yeah. It was, I mean, it was a good feeling to be like, okay, because I didn't think, because he had raised his credit score, but I didn't think we were going to get approved for what we got approved for. So, because I think we ended up getting approved for like 430 or something like that.
So that's good. That's good. Because I tell people, whatever we get pre-approved for, we want to stay within 10, 20, just to kind of give it that buffer. You know, when most people look at their pre-approval, like, oh, I got this amount of money, this is what I'm looking for. Like, nah, you don't want to exactly look for that, right? Yeah. And I think at the time you guys were approved, fast forward, the time you guys were pre-approved, the inventory was decreasing.
It was.
So it wasn't a lot of inventory on the market. So, I mean, we're looking at everything that, like, if it sparks our interest, we're going to go look at it. We looked at a lot of houses.
We did.
Believe it or not. And you guys probably looked at more scrolling through your phone. You
yes.
know what I mean?
Every day.
Yeah.
That was like almost as a part-time job.
Yeah.
Yeah. A part-time throughout the day.
Yeah.
Every minute you get, you ain't doing that. I'm looking on the phone like, I like this and sit down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Send it to Khalil every day. I'm like,
yes.
Send it to Khalil.
Yeah.
He got sick of it. He's like, you send it to Khalil.
So I felt like, you know, when they give you the pre-approval, you have a certain amount of time before you have to go back and like, I guess just update it, if that makes any sense. And you kind of like racing.
Yeah.
Because anything financially can change before you even get to update. So you're kind of beating the time clock. But there's no inventory on the market.
Right.
Right. And so it was like, well, I remember we looked at a house right before this one. You guys said, well, Khalil, we're going to shoot over here. We're going to go ahead and just ride through the neighborhood and see. And you guys like, yo, that's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yep.
We need to go check that out. Right. And I was like, yeah, okay. It's new construction. I was like, okay.
And you know, cool. We were... He was dead set against new construction.
New construction, yeah.
Like, they too close together. They too cookie cutter. Yeah.
So new construction. So from an apartment to new construction, it happens. Actually, it happens a lot. But I think in you guys' position, it's actually very unique, just because that's not what you had initially wanted.
Yeah.
And so it was like, you gotta bite and okay, this is a yes, this is a no, this is a yes, this, you know what I mean? So you kind of had to negotiate with yourself just a little bit, but to have the new construction and have it meet majority of your needs, it was like, wow.
Yeah.
You know, and so, new construction is different though.
Yes.
It's not like your traditional home sale.
No.
We're kind of like hands off. You know what I mean? We kind of just leave everything in their hands.
I kept asking though, Khalil. I was like, Khalil gonna get his money, right?
Yeah.
Because you were so removed from it, but you were still communicating with us. But I'm like,
yes.
How does that work?
Yes. Yeah.
I asked him all the time. I was like, Khalil still gonna get his money from the sale though, right?
Yeah.
Because it just seems like they are so aggressive. I don't know if that's the word, but they are so. Yeah.
No, that's the perfect word. So all new construction is like that. They have their own lenders. They have their own lawyer system. They actually have their own set of realtors.
Right.
They have their own everything, right? So they can control and dominate the market. And so when you bring in another party, that's so cool. That's okay, right? It doesn't matter who you bring, but they still like to tend to their systems and their process because it's just such a new, it's just a new transaction, right? And so I get it, I understand it, but I still want to be like, nah, we're going to hire our own attorney. Nah, we're going to do our own.
How was that process for you with this?
That's a good question. So I've been involved in a new construction. That was actually my first time actually just being involved with it by myself.
Right.
So it was actually eye-opener for me.
Okay.
Because it just showed, again, how much consistent communication you have to have. And I mean, me personally, whenever I'm working on a regular, like, normal transaction, I'm always talking to one person and maybe talking to their bank. That's it. You know, when I'm helping people buy homes. But for the most part, I was talking to everybody in the company. I was talking to her manager. I was talking to her. I was talking to her appraiser. I mean, not the appraiser, but her loan officer. So I'm dealing with every entity of that party. And there's too many people to communicate with, and the conversation gets lost. And I kind of feel like the conversation got lost for you guys as well. Like at some point it was like, okay, I see 10 different emails today. Each one of them is a different conversation. I would rather talk to one person, which is why I was like,
it was like 3 different loan officers. I mean that wasn't their title, but it was 3 different people that we communicated on the loan. Like that process was daunting.
Yes.
It was almost make you want to give up. That's how, it was like, because it was like they was asking the same questions every day. I'm answering.
But it was to a different person.
Yeah.
So that part was.
Yeah, you're talking to 2 different people answering the same question, but they're not talking.